So hello guys, this is TheManBearPigify here once again, back at you with another video. And in this video I welcome you to my highly anticipated and long awaited full in-depth recon guide. In this guide I will try to explain everything, and I do mean everything, that you have to know to become a better sniper for yourself. Now a lot of people, and I do mean a lot of people, have been asking me if I could please make a recon guide to help out the people that are starting out to be a recon, but just can't get the grips of things and just want an informational video on how you should snipe. Now I've gone a little overboard and I've made this fully in-depth recon guide to help you out with everything that you need to know and how to be a better sniper. And even if you are a fairly good sniper yourself, you might learn a thing or two from this video, so it is worth watching. It will take quite a while to make this video for me, but I feel it's worth it for the people that are just starting out and just need some kind of help as to how you should become a better recon. I know I struggled with this when I started out, and I just want to help out a few people and make them become the better sniper that your team needs, instead of the camping sniper that does nothing for their team and is just simply a bad asset to your team. Now, who am I to actually explain to you what how you should play the recon class? Well, I myself, I feel as if though I am a fairly good sniper myself. If you have been subscribed to my channel and you've been watching my recon videos, then you will know that I am a fairly aggressive and successful sniper in Battlefield Play for Free. So I feel that my tips might be pretty good for people that are just starting out to be a sniper and really want some kind of guide as to how we should play. Now, what is this sniper class? Well, actually the recon class. Now the recon class is one of the most versatile classes in whole of Battlefield Play for Free. It contains a lot of different things. You can be a camping sniper, and with camping I mean just a sniper that likes to sit kind of back but report information to your teammates, such as where the enemy is and where the enemy is located, and spot out your enemies and kill the enemies from a distance where ordinary assault rifles will not be able to reach. You can also be a aggressive sniper rifle. You can also be an aggressive recon by using something like a VSS Venturus, an SVUA, or you could just be a balls to the walls rusher with something like an SPAS 12 with infiltration skill, so you can just go straight for the objectives and infiltrate the enemies, flank the enemies, and in turn get a lot of kills and help out your team win the objective. Now without further ado, I present to you the table of contents for this video. Here you can see everything that we will be doing and covering during this video. Now as you can see, when we start, I will talk about the training points, the recommended setup that you should be using when starting out to be a recon, and general tips and pointers on what your training point setup should be. After that, I will be talking about the weapons available for the recon class and recommended attachments for those weapons. And I'll also briefly explain about the available pistols for your recon class. After that, I will be talking about some recon friendly maps and showing you examples of the recon friendly maps. Some maps are simply not made for recons and other maps are just really recon friendly. After that, I'll give some general tips and pointers, and after that I will explain the types of recons available in Battlefield Play Free. Not actually available, but the types of recon that you can be when playing Battlefield Play for Free. More will get clear when we actually get to it. After that, I will explain about bullet drop and what it is and how you can overcome it. And after that, I will do a quick scoping and no scoping guide. Now I welcome you to the first part of my video, which is the training point setup. Now of course I am starting off by putting 4 points into the motion sensor. A motion sensor without 4 points into the motion sensor training is quite useless, since the range is pretty limited and the cooldown time is really big. I recommend putting 4 points into the motion sensor at all times and nothing less. After that, I'm putting 5 points into the advanced reconnaissance. Now what this essentially is it allows you to spot people more easily. Now let's say I have spotted one guy, but the guy has a group of teammates around him. It will not only spot the guy that I initially spotted, but it will also spot the people that are actually surrounding the guy that I initially spotted. This essentially allows you to spot a whole group of enemies with more ease. Now here you can see I have paused the screen with training points that you essentially should have when starting out with your recon. These points should be your first priority, and only after that you can start putting points towards other things such as grenade combat awareness and grenades, helicopters, jets, and all that kind of stuff. Because a recon without barrier sensors is just, you know, it's like building a house without a hammer. Yeah, good luck. It's not gonna happen. You want to, of course, have all the points I just listed you. So remember, 4 points into the motion sensor, 5 points into the satellite, no, not the satellite surveillance, 5 points into the advanced reconnaissance, and 1 point into the combat infiltration. The 1 point in the combat infiltration allows you to be unseen by things such as satellite surveillance and just being spotted overall. When you get spotted, or when you are entering a vehicle and you have combat infiltration, the cool thing is that it will actually remove the whole vehicle from the minimap, so the whole vehicle will be unseen as well. So even if your helicopter or jet gets spotted, it won't stay spotted for long and you can disappear off the minimap as fast as possible. Now we're on to the second part of the video, which is the weapons, attachments, and the pistols. Now the weapon I recommend you use is actually any of the bolt action sniper rifles. They are all good at what they do. They all can mostly deliver a one-shot headshot and also do a lot of damage. But the weapon I recommend that you use when starting off and do not have a lot of funds is the M24. It's unlike at level 12, has a lot of stopping power, can do a one-shot headshot amongst all ranges, and has a really nice scope to go with it. It's really cheap as well, 1,249 funds compared to maybe the M82's expensive price, so I highly recommend you up some money for the M24. Now the attachments that I recommend you run are all the same on all the bolt action sniper rifles. Is the precision barrel mostly. If you can't get the precision barrel, it's fine, you can get on without it, but I highly recommend you get some funds to maybe opt for the precision barrel. I recommend you use either Viper Max, or if you do not have the money for Viper Max, go for soft point ammo instead. This will allow you to deliver a one-shot headshot amongst all ranges with most of the sniper rifles. The scope I would usually just leave as a standard scope, since wasting money on a scope isn't really needed. However, if you're rank 21, the ballistic range is quite cheap, so it might be worth looking into. As for stocks don't affect bolt action sniper rifles since the recoil is irrelevant, so I wouldn't even bother with the stock. However, on semi-automatic sniper rifles, it is really good to have a stock also on fully automatic sniper rifles. I use the stabilized stock on my VSS Vinteris and the tactical stock on the SKS and other semi-automatic sniper rifles, along with the same attachment that you saw on my bolt action sniper rifle. Now the pistols I recommend you use, or actually any of the pistols will do, but I usually recommend that you just use the regular MP443. The regular MP443 is really cheap, clocking in at 999 funds. It has a lot of bullets that allows for spammability and a lot of stopping power, especially if you go for a headshot at close range. I also recommend that you get some money or just get some shots and bandages to heal yourself during battle if you get shot, because sometimes those medics just simply won't give you any health and you will just have to use your own adrenaline shots or bandages. Now we're on to the third part of the video, which are the recap friendly maps. Now I have picked out 3 maps in particular. It's not that other maps that Battlefield Play for Free provides are bad, it's just that these maps are the easiest to learn how to snipe on, so that's why I really recommend starting out with these maps. Now the maps I've chosen are Karkand, either Assault or Rush will do, Oman, Assault, for now there is no Rush mode as of the making of this video, and Dalian, Assault or Rush, doesn't matter which game mode you choose, just whichever game mode you prefer. Now I remember on Karkand when I just started out how to snipe, I really love playing on Karkand. Karkand is a really good map for snipers. It has some really nice long lines of sight, and it also has some really close range engagements as well. So if you are using something like a VSS Vinteris or a shotgun, it can be also really fun to play as a recon as well. And when you're just using your bolt action, you will get really familiar with how to use your pistol. Now Oman, because when starting out how to actually snipe, it's really good to get to get the grips with your bullet drop of your weapon, and learning bullet drop is easiest when you are making really long range shots. And getting really long range shots is easy on Oman because it's a really open and long range map. It has some really long lines of sight. You can even get kills on like 300 plus ranges, so that's why it's a really fun map to snipe on. Now for the same reasons I mentioned on Oman, Delian is also a really big map. It also has some really good lines of sight, and you can also get some really good range kills, so it's really good to actually getting to grips with your weapon and learning how the bolt drop actually performs and works on your particular bolt action sniper rifle or semi-automatic or fully automatic sniper rifle of your choice. Now we're on to one of the most important parts of this video, which are the general tips. Now the first tip I gotta give is don't do stupid things. I have a video example of showing things that you should not be doing and some bonus clips at the end. I hope you will enjoy.
Enemy light tank inbound. We got an enemy technical on the move. Over. Enemy vehicle. I repeat, enemy vehicle. Hostile helo identified. Enemy infantry spotted.
Did you hear that noise? That's the noise that you should be hearing, because that's the noise that you get when you spot out an enemy or the vehicle alike. That noise is something that you should be hearing all the time, because you should be spotting out the enemies as often as possible, since you're a recon and your job is to spot the enemies before you actually kill them. At long range, you should be spamming the Q button to see if you can actually spot out some enemies, and when you're running down some corridors or something like that, you should be spamming the Q button to spot out your enemy. Now what you're seeing here is an example of strafing. You should be strafing with your sniper at all times. This is to avoid getting hit. If you look at the picture, you can see that the red guy is standing stationary. He is trying to hit the blue guy, but the blue guy is moving side to side, so the red guy is not hitting the blue guy. However, the blue guy is moving side to side, and he has an easy time hitting the red target because the red target is standing still. With the sniper, you should be doing this every time in between shots and all that kind of stuff, so you don't get hit and you hit the enemy in turn. I will have an example in just a moment. Now another tip I've gotta give is use cover to your advantage. You want to use cover as much as possible. You want to see cover as the green and safe areas, and you want to see the open areas that you are running through to get to the cover as red areas. Kinda like that game of The Floor is Lava I used to play as a kid. You want to be getting towards the green part as soon as possible because you want to avoid getting hit while getting to those spots. But once you are at those green spots, however, you can easily snipe out your targets because they can only see the tip of your head and you can only see their body. But keep in mind, if there's another sniper, he can also snipe you out really easily because he only needs to get a headshot and your head is poking out. So remember to crouch after each shot. Now what you're seeing now is something that I have done to kind of give you guys an example. You can see my hands at the top left corner. I know it's not the best quality, but I did the best I can to actually give you an overview. But as you can see, I am pressing the A and D keys and the Q button really heavily. That's what you should be looking after. I'm pressing the A and D buttons to move from left to right. And if you see now, when I'm just looking somewhere that I expect an enemy to be, with my left ring finger I am spamming the Q button to spot out the enemy. It depends if you have changed your default configuration, but if you haven't, that means that you should be pressing Q as much as possible when you expect that there's maybe a place where an enemy might be lurking into. Because when you spot them out, your whole team can see them on the minimap and you actually know where they are because you get the little notification by the announcer in game. Now you should also be noticing one other thing, that is that I'm standing completely still when I fire my shot. I almost take my hands off my keyboard when I try to shoot, because when you are moving ever so slightly to the left or the right, you will miss your target by just a little bit because deviation will start to kick in. But when you're standing completely still, however, you are not experiencing any sort of deviation and you're just, your bullet just goes straight and goes wherever you want. What you saw me throwing just there, those are called motion sensors, and it's what you should be throwing all the time as well. If you followed my guide at the beginning of the video where I explained about the training point, you should have put 4 points into the motion sensor, and if you have done that, your cooldown time of your motion sensor are pretty short and your proximity is also pretty big. So I suggest throwing out motion sensors whatever you can around those crowded areas, and they also give you actually a lot of points, because for every kill that a teammate actually gets on an enemy within the proximity of the motion sensor, you get a motion sensor kill assist, and those can add up pretty fast. Now here you can see an example of how the motion sensor works. As you can see, when I throw it, it actually has a proximity like blinking, and it actually shows any enemy that is within its proximity, as you can see. Now, 2 other tips I've gotta give are not actually related to the gameplay itself, but are related to settings in game. What you want to do is turn off camera shake. If you launch Battlefield Play Free, you want to go to the settings section, and then down here click on no on camera shake. Do not want camera shake, it's really bad for your aim, and I think you even have fake scope sway when you have camera shake enabled, so I would definitely turn that off. One other thing is to have a good and low mouse sensitivity. I will have a video in the description and maybe even linked on the screen to a video of mine where I go in depth on how to actually configure your sensitivity, so it's definitely worth watching. Now I've got a couple of other things where I didn't have video examples of, so I'll just name them right now. Now, you have a pistol, you should use the pistol. If you're getting at close range, don't be afraid to pull out your pistol and kill the enemy and not just quickscope the guy, because your pistol is really effective at close range and your sniper rifle just isn't. Now also, choose good spots to actually snipe from. Don't go sit all the way at the back of the map, because chances are you won't get a lot of kills. If you sit a bit closer, however, and you choose a good spot where you have a lot of cover, you might be really successful with sniping. And another tip I gotta give is watch some YouTube videos. If you've been subscribed to my channel, or if you have not been subscribed to my channel, I recommend you check out my other videos where I actually do some sniping gameplay. I do some really good gameplays in those videos, and you can actually see the routes that I'm taking and the decisions that I am making. We have now come to the 5th part of this video, which is the types of recon and the playstyles that several recons can have. Now I have grouped these in 3 parts. The first type of recon is the passive recon, and it's the type of recon that you should start off being. Now the passive recon, you can see I'm playing right now. The passive recon just kind of likes to sit back and just spot out the enemies and sit back and try to just engage the enemies at a distance and maybe try to get a bit aggressive only when you see the opportunity arise and you don't see any harm done to yourself. Now this tactic should be done by beginning recons, because as you can see, getting the bullet drop right and everything, it's really difficult. I myself am not used to being a passive sniper, I'm more used to being an aggressive sniper, so I was having a bit of a hard time getting these long range shots. And but if you're starting out as a recon, I really recommend that you try to go for these long range shots, because if you go for these long range shots, you know how the bullet drop actually works, and you get the grips of your weapon. In this case, I was using the M24, which is in my opinion a really good beginner sniper rifle. But as you can see, I'm just trying to engage the enemies from a distance, trying to keep my distance from them, spotting them out as I see them, which is what you should be doing as well. Now what I recommend you do is not go straight for headshots. If you can, I would go for headshots, but I would try to go for body shots first at longer ranges, just to see how your bullet drop actually affects your weapon. I recommend playing this playstyle on maps such as Oman and Dalian. Carrigan is not the best example to play a passive recon on, but for now we'll move on to the next part of recon, which is the semi-aggressive recon. Now that we've moved on to the next type of recon, the semi-aggressive recon. Now this is an example of how the semi-aggressive recon should be playing. As you can see, I'm starting to be a lot more aggressive. I'm starting to use my pistol. This is what you should be doing after you get really comfortable with the first part of being a recon, which is being a passive recon. Here you can see I'm just running around searching for the enemies and just going for the objectives in general. Now I am switching to my pistol a lot after kills, because in case I get a body shot, because I am being very aggressive, so sometimes I do not have the time to go for a headshot, I immediately switch to my pistol and try to kill the enemies and finish them off with my pistol. And as I said before, even if you have an M9 or something, I recommend that you maybe do some surveys or something like that and go for the MP443, which is an excellent pistol to start out with. And as you can see, I'm just going through on the objective itself, killing the enemies while I'm on the objective. This is not like extremely aggressive, because after all it's Omen and it's a pretty long range map, but I'm being really aggressive, as you can see, capping the objective. Now I'm going to B as well, trying to cap that objective and just helping my team to win. Now of course I am still spotting out my enemies as I go. This is what you want to be doing. I am still strafing side to side, using cover and all that kind of stuff that I mentioned in my general tips. I'm not forgetting to throw my motion sensors and all that stuff. Now that you've seen this type of recon, we can move on to the next type of recon, which is the aggressive recon. Now we're at the last type of recons, which is the aggressive recon. Now the aggressive recon can play on pretty much any map, because even close quarter maps are good for the aggressive recon, since he's always on the front line anyways. So that's why for this example I've chosen the Bathroor map instead of the Karkan, Oman or Dalian map. Now the aggressive recon can work on Oman, Dalian and Karkan as well, but I just wanted to show how it works on maps such as Basra and Sharqi as well. Now what the aggressive recon does is the same thing that the passive and semi-aggressive recon do, which is spot out the enemies, throw motion sensors, but in turn of that he is always on the front line, taking out the enemies the first thing. Like, instead of sitting back and spotting out the enemies and taking them off from a distance, you are sitting back close range and trying to take the enemies out from a certain medium to close range distance. Now with this type of recon, you will get really familiar with the use of your pistol, because a lot of times if you're being really aggressive and going on the objective, you will have to use your pistol quite a lot. Now I have an example of a recon that is using a SPAS 12 and a sniper rifle combined. Now you can do this because if you use a dual booster, you can use a shotgun and a sniper, but this is also to show that an aggressive recon can also be used with a VSS Venturus or a SPAS 12 shotgun as well. As you can see, I'm being really aggressive with the shotgun, trying to take out the enemies on the objective and trying to actually cap the objective itself. Now that you've seen these types of recon, it's time to move on to the next stage, which is how to conquer and learn to adapt to the bullet drop of your sniper rifle. Alright guys, now we're on to part 6 of this video, which is where I will briefly try to explain how you actually should get used to the bullet drop of your weapon. Now here I have the M24 with precision barrel, Viper Max and Thunderbolt stock and the default scope. Now special thanks to my friend Kinslet for actually standing there, and actually a quick shout out to Wizard who is flying the jet right there. Now I will purposely aim way too high Oh wait, first I will show what happens when you shoot your bullet. Now did you see the bullet, did you see this trail? Now this trail is what you should be using to actually calculate your bullet drop. Now I will purposely shoot way too high to hit my target, which is standing way over there. Now I can see as my bullet landed way too high on his head. The bullet landed somewhere over here. So I will try to correct my shot by aiming a bit lower. Now I'm aiming a bit lower. And I actually got a hit. But I didn't get a headshot. So this time I'll try to aim a bit higher. Oh, I got another body shot again. Now this is all about trial and error. You never actually get something, you know, right the first time. And I got another body shot, and I guess I should aim with this dot. Now this is how you actually should be trying to learn how to, you know, scope. I've shot a couple of times, and now I know that somewhere around this dot, which is on the enemy's head right now, is where I should be aiming in order to hit the enemy. Now that's a bit too high, so a bit lower than the dot, and I should headshot the enemy. Now this is all about trial and error. As I said before, I can't speak now. This is all about trial and error. You should be just trying to hit your target from distance, and what you should not be doing is actually just descoping when you have shot. I recommend when you have shot, keep holding your left mouse button like this so you stay scoped in and you can see where the bullet drops. And now we'll go to the last part of the video where I'll do a brief quick scoping and no scoping guide. Now we're on to the last part of the video where I will do a quick no scoping and quick scoping guide. Now this guide won't be in depth, it will be just kind of briefly, but it will kind of get you the gist of it on how to actually quick scope. Now how you want to quick scope, you want to know where the center of your screen is. Now you want to look at the barrel of my M24 and where it's pointing at, because where it's pointing at, that will be somewhere where my scope will be scoped in. Because you can see now I'm pointing it somewhere at, you know, let's say I'm now pointing it somewhere at A. My scope will zoom in somewhere near A. Now I'm pointing it somewhere near D. It's gonna zoom in somewhere near D. Now you need to use the center of your screen aspect thingy in order to actually know how to quick scope the enemy. Now let's say, let me fire a shot. Right, let's say I want to hit somewhere around there. Now I'm running right here, and suddenly I see an enemy. Now what I want to do first is see where the center of my screen is. So I'm running. Here's the center of my screen. Then I would, but let's say my scope is a bit off. My scope's a bit to the right. I would scope in. Let me fire the shots again. I would scope in, and I would see my enemy target here. I would drag my scope over to here, and then once I'm somewhere where I think I will hit the enemy, I will shoot and try to strafe side to side in order to miss the enemy's incoming bullets. And now let me show that in a bit faster way. I would run, know where the center of my screen is, and then shoot a shot. As you can see, it's pretty damn close to where I actually shot. Now what you can do is actually zoom in and get a bit of tape. Maybe just get a bit of, you know, like red tape or like a marker, and make a marker in the center of your screen. I personally do not do this, but if you're stunning out and want to know how to actually aim, it's really helpful because you will know exactly where the middle of your screen is, and you can quick scope way easier. Now onto the no scoping guide. Now when you no scope, most of your shots will go somewhere to the upper left. Now what you want to do now is when you're no scoping and you are in a hurry, aim to the bottom right. Jerk your mouse to the bottom right while you're aiming, and then just you know, jerk your mouse to the bottom right and then just shoot. So like this. So if you shoot randomly, you can see it goes somewhere to the left, upper left. Now what if I do this? It goes way more to the center. Now no scoping is all about luck. Personally, there's not really a significant, you know, increase, but this will help you actually, you know, center your shots more so you have more chance of hitting the enemy. As you can see now, the shots are way more centered, and I actually have a chance of hitting the enemy. Now here I have my friends Egyptian Wizard and Kinsled standing, and I will demonstrate what I showed with the quick scoping examples on him. Now let's say I'm running, and I see him, and I quick scoping. Now as you notice, I didn't go for the headshot because when quick scoping, you rarely go for headshots because it's pretty hard to do it in such a quick fashion. So what you would do is quick scope him and then finish him off with a pistol. Now I will show the no scoping example of dragging my mouse to the bottom right, as you can see right here. And I'm successfully taking down the enemy. Quick scoping and no scoping is a pretty viable tactic if done correctly, but please keep in mind it is still kind of luck based. Sometimes your shots don't register, so keep that in mind. Now we're gonna go to the last part of the video where I will end this video. Well guys, this video is coming to an end. It took a lot of time to make this video, as you can probably imagine. A 30-minute video just talking about the Recon class and how you should play the Recon takes a lot of planning and a lot of actually, making the video itself, recording the videos, commentating over the video itself. It took a lot of time out of my day. I actually took around 5 days to edit and make this video for you guys, but I just thought it would help a lot of people out with actually playing the Recon class. I hope this guide will turn you into the sniping, quick scoping Recon that you always wanted to be, instead of the camping Recon that you are actually right now. This video, I would really appreciate it if you could actually like it and maybe share it with a friend of yours that is also struggling with Recon class. This video will surely help him with becoming a better Recon, and it might even help you become a better Recon if you're, or even if you're already really good at the game. Now, if you want, I would recommend subscribing to my channel if you want to see more videos such as these. I make videos like these on a regular basis to help you guys get better at Battlefield Play for free. Well guys, for now, this has been TheManBearPigify, and I'm out.